Anthology of Discourses, a refreshing translation of the Sutta Nipāta, translated by Bhikkhu Sujato and read by Angus Cargill. With Bharadvaja the farmer. So I have heard. At one time the Buddha was staying in the land of the Magadhans, in the southern hills near the Brahmin village of Ekanala. Now at that time the Brahmin Bharadvaja the farmer had harnessed around 500 ploughs, it being the season for sowing. Then the Buddha robed up in the morning, and, taking his bowl and robe, went to where Bharadvaja the farmer was working. Now at that time Bharadvaja the farmer was distributing food. Then the Buddha went to where the distribution was taking place, and stood to one side. Bharadvaja the farmer saw him standing for alms and said to him, I plough and sow, ascetic, and then I eat. You too should plough and sow, then you may eat. I too plough and sow, Brahmin, and then I eat. I don't see Mr. Gautama with a yoke or ploughshare or goad or oxen, yet he says, I too plough and sow, Brahmin, and then I eat. Then Bharadvaja the farmer addressed the Buddha in verse. You claim to be a farmer, but I don't see you farming. Tell me your farming when asked, so I can recognize your farming. Faith is my seed, fervor my rain, and wisdom is my yoke and plough. Conscience is my pole, mind my strap, mindfulness my ploughshare and goad. Guarded in body and speech, I restrict my intake of food. I use truth as my scythe, and sweetness is my release. Energy is my beast of burden, transporting me to sanctuary from the yoke. It goes without turning back where there is no sorrow. That's how to do the farming that has freedom from death as its fruit. When you finish this farming, you're released from all suffering. Then Bharadvaja the farmer poured milk rice in a large bronze cup and presented it to the Buddha. Eat the milk rice, Mr. Gautama. You are truly a farmer. For Mr. Gautama does the farming that has freedom from death as its fruit. Food enchanted by a verse isn't fit for me to eat. That's not the principle of those who see, Brahmin. The Buddhas reject things enchanted with verses. Since there is such a principle, Brahmin, that's how they live. Serve with other food and drink the consummate one, the great seer, with defilements ended and remorse stilled, for he is the field for the seeker of merit. Then, Mr. Gautama, to whom should I give the milk rice? Brahmin, I don't see anyone in this world, with its gods, maras, and divinities, this population with its ascetics and Brahmins, its gods and humans, who can properly digest this milk rice, except for the realized one or one of his disciples. Well then, Brahmin, throw out the milk rice where there is little that grows, or drop it into water that has no living creatures. So Bharadvaja the farmer dropped the milk rice in water that had no living creatures, and when the milk rice was placed in the water, it sizzled and hissed, steaming and fuming. Suppose there was an iron cauldron that had been heated all day. If you placed it in the water, it would sizzle and hiss, steaming and fuming. In the same way, when the milk rice was placed in the water, it sizzled and hissed, steaming and fuming. Then Bharadvaja the farmer, shocked and awestruck, went up to the Buddha, bowed down with his head at the Buddha's feet, and said, Excellent, Mr. Gautama, excellent, as if he were righting the overturned or revealing the hidden, or pointing out the path to the lost, or lighting a lamp in the dark so people with clear eyes can see what's there. Mr. Gautama has made the teaching clear in many ways. I go for refuge to Mr. Gautama, to the teaching, and to the mendicant Sangha. May I receive the going forth, the ordination in Mr. Gautama's presence?" And Bharadvaja the farmer received the going forth, the ordination in the Buddha's presence. Not long after his ordination, Venerable Bharadvaja, living alone, withdrawn, diligent, keen, and resolute, soon realized the supreme end of the spiritual path in this very life. He lived, having achieved with his own insight the goal for which gentlemen rightly go forth from the lay life to homelessness. He understood. Rebirth is ended. The spiritual journey has been completed. What had to be done has been done. There is nothing further for this place. And Venerable Bharadvaja became one of the perfected.